This is In the Fourth Turn with Jim Shelton. IndyCars at Detroit. You know, I can't wait to see that. I've waited every year. You know what? I could not wait until the 500 was over to have the excitement of Detroit. The only place that I can think of that would be a better place to run an IndyCar race is at Mount Lawn Speedway in Newcastle. Mount Lawn Speedway has a curve that's about, I think they say it's like a 70-degree turn, and IndyCars just really they do a hell of a good job on 70-degree turns, kind of like they do at Detroit. Yes. It may not be 70 degrees. That may not be that extreme, but it is pretty close to it. And anything that's over about 120, under 120 degrees, is, in a short period of time, like it is at Detroit, IndyCars have a heck of a time making that turn. They just don't turn. The the thought process that they went through to design that course, it looks like somebody went and what they did was they went out in the middle of the Detroit River. They said, you know what, Belle Isle doesn't look that great. People have to walk over there, and my God, it's a pain in the butt doing that. And we can't charge them parking a lot of times. We don't get all the parking. Oh my God! I tell you what, let's do. Let's fix that problem. Let's have, it was much better when it was F1. We got a lot more funds from that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this course and we're going to put it downtown. And here's what we're going to do. And they wrote it out on the back of a napkin on the captain's chair in the middle of the river there, the Detroit River. And it went overboard and got a little soggy, but they recovered it, got it freeze dried somewhere, and said, you know what, we can't go away from this because we can't write on a sheet of paper. That's how that course was designed, right there. The only thing that was a prerequisite was that the pits had to be devised so that we got a good picture of the Renaissance Center. Well, which is the GM headquarters right now. For right now. There's plans on tearing that thing down. People, GM's moving down the street. There's not going to be anything in that thing, and we're going to tear it down. And so we're going to have a big construction project in the middle of Detroit. An opportunity of a lifetime. I want to tell you, we can finally get this race out of Detroit and put it where it belongs, at the Michigan International Speedway. So we got to get Roger Penske out of control of IndyCar immediately. He can't have anything to do with it. He loves Detroit for some God unknown reason. He loves that city. He's going to have a race down there no matter hell or high water. It makes absolutely no sense to have a race in Detroit. In Detroit, they used to get twice as many people paying at the MIS and a heck of a lot better TV product. And if you're going to call yourself the fastest racing on earth, you better start racing at tracks where you go fast. And that's not Detroit. Has the slowest corners in the series. It quite possibly could be the worst race course in the history of IndyCar racing. And that's saying something. That's why I say they used a wet napkin out of the Detroit River. It's probably over time disintegrated, and we don't even have any trace of that now because of whatever the heck is in that river. People, got to move this race from Detroit. It sucks. Okay, let's go to do a race preview. Who's going to win this race? Well, this is one where if you qualify really well, you got to worry about somebody running in the back of you. You got to worry about that a lot, because the first turn is murder at that track. Then you got this crazy divided pit lane. I don't know who the fool was that thought that was a good idea, but now we're going to times that times two and screw up a track in Texas with it. Mark Miles, got to go. He loves that dual pit lane for some damn reason, and what they need to do is put him in the center of it, and then he won't like it so much. That's stupid. You got cars coming out of each side. Somebody's going to spin one of these days, either coming in or out of the pits, and go over to the other side and hurt a bunch of people. Because you're going to have another car coming out and can't see the guy spinning. Boom, he runs into it, and they're all over the place. That is a dumb idea. You got people you got anytime you have car in a car race, the most dangerous turns are the ones where there are cars going in two different directions. And that's exactly what that pit lane is. It's got to go. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It gives a whole bunch of people an advantage over other people. The people in the outer lane have a bigger advantage than the people in the inner lane, the one that's closer to the racing track. It's crap. That's what it is. The whole track's a bunch of crap. Where do the only people that get it, that, and even these people, I don't know why they're paying for their seats. The high class suites in the middle, in the pit lane thing, they can't even see any part of the racetrack. The only thing that gets the pit lane, I guess. I guess someone can see the track, but very little of it. And this track it wasn't built for they never thought about how where they're going to have people view the race at the track. So you can't tell if there's even anybody there. The best places I'm told is in a parking garage. That's bizarre. People called the track in Asheville a rinky-dink track, but there was places you could sit on that track and see most of it. So I don't understand the stupidity of the way they've got this thing set up. Let's look at getting rid of this track. MIS 500 race. You got to have a product. If you want to be the fastest series on earth, you need to have a season within a season. And there are ways you could do this. You could have 3 500-mile races. You could have duels at the 1 mile tracks where you ran 2 races in 2 days. And you get a bunch of fast tracks on the series, or faster tracks than what you're doing now. The idea of having a 1-day event is not a great one. You don't bring any people in for the first day, and the TV rating would be a heck of a lot better on Saturday if there was a race than if there was a practice or qualifying. Just trust me. And the attendance at the race. So at the ones that I've been to, the attendance on Saturday was much better than Sunday. Even if they had a good concert that day. So let's do duels, but let's plan them, make them events, and do them at every mile track that you have. The 2.5 mile tracks, you don't need that. You got all the. It's good for the promoter. You can have a good racing product on Saturday. Have qualifications and do the way they're doing it now. And have 500-mile races. You need to have Michigan back on the schedule, and God forbid, this is going to really, really set those crazy racers off all on their edge. Let's go back to Pocono. Let's mend the fence, either buy the track or promote it. I'd say promoting it is a dumb idea. Let them promote their own race. And they know how to do it. They know how to get people into their stands. But now you're going to work with them. You're going to give them TV time for ads. You're going to do some social media with it. You're going to do stuff to get people to the track. You're going to have events there. You're going to do a real promotion. You're going to have a county fair at each one of them. And I don't mean one of these little bitty rinky-dink county fairs. I want a real first-class county fair. That's what we used to do. That's the what the series used to be. And you need to do that at these mile tracks too. They need something. When you go, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of time that you don't really know what's going on. There's nobody in the stands. There's nobody at the track. There's no reason to come because you don't promote the Saturday events. It's ridiculous. Gateway has a fairly decent Sunday. The Saturday events are probably better races. At least most of the time. I mean, the Silver Crown race is a great race, but nobody promotes it. It's not something that brings people to the track. Let's look at and don't run it the same. Well, I don't guess they're not doing that this year, but they used to run it the same weekend as Springfield, and then the Silver Crown went to Springfield the next day. Well, they're two different cars. That's the reason that that series isn't really the Champ Car series anymore. That is Champ Cars from 1970. They're basically the same cars that were running then. IndyCar, get your act together. You've got a real opportunity right now to really go to the next level. Get Roger Penske out of the series. Fire Mark Miles yesterday. Tell him he was fired yesterday. He is a worthless piece of garbage. He gets at the banquet and he starts talking about a wiener race. What the hell? I mean, really, seriously, it was fun. Yes, it was a funny idea. It probably works for one or two times with a little promotion. It probably could work every year. People would get behind it. But you're going to have another event with it if you're going to do that and make it a whole day. The people that come to Carb Day come for two different reasons. One is to see the IndyCar practice. They used to come for the NDXT race that was in conjunction with it. And they don't come for the freaking wiener race, people. They stay for the wiener race because it's right before the pit stop contest. And some of them stay for the concert at the end. But most of the people that go to the concert aren't even at Carb Day. The way they get 75,000 people there is they have the IndyCar event in the morning, gets about 50,000, and then they have about 25,000 for this concert in the afternoon. It's not a big deal. To say that was 75,000 people is a joke, an absolute joke. Yeah, there's more there than there is at the Grand Prix. That's another thing we need to get rid of is the Grand Prix. If you don't want to do a qualifying race or something, just get rid of the Grand Prix. Run some kind of an event that's a lead in. It'll be much better to do the opening weekend of practice for everybody involved. The event would be much better. It was much better before. They're not getting that much more of a crowd. Yeah, you do get a TV event, a little bit more of a TV event, but you can figure out some things to do to get a TV event. You could have it. Guess what? You could have an NXT race on that weekend also. Well, maybe that's when you do it. But at any rate, the missed opportunity there is not a good idea. That's the way I see it for the fourth turn. This is Jim Shelton. Well, in the fourth turn, this is Jim Shelton.